Sunday, everybody. Meteorologist Hunter Forst here. A beautiful weekend we had. I mean, it was warm. We were in the 80s yesterday and today, 2 days in a row. It's been a while since we've seen that. Last time we were 82 days in a row was back in November. So it felt great. This weekend was spectacular. Saw a good amount of sunshine yesterday, a little bit today. It was a little cloudy, but I still got some sun, even though it was a bit cloudy out there. But overall, a wonderful weekend. But as we head into the day tomorrow, Monday, the start of the work week, things are going to shift a bit. It's still going to be really warm as we head into the afternoon, upper 70s to right around 80 degrees. Maybe a few isolated showers in the morning, maybe a few later into the afternoon. But by the time we get into the evening, we're going to see a line of storms pushing through from a strong cold front that's making its way through the Midwest right now. That's eventually heading towards us, heading into late Monday into early Tuesday morning. So we do have a weather impact alert in effect for 8 o'clock Monday through 4 a.m. Tuesday morning. So the good news is both main commutes for right now are looking like they should be in the clear. So you're coming home from work Monday. You could run into a few isolated showers, but I think you'll be fine for the most part. And as you head off to work Tuesday morning, the worst of it should be out of here. So good news is should be bunkered home whenever these storms start to roll through. So here's what we could expect with these storms. Gusty winds are possible. Isolated tornadoes, that threat has actually gone up from yesterday to today. And the hail threat has actually gone down a little bit. So gusty winds and isolated tornadoes are the main threat. Some of these storms could have some hail, but that's not looking to be the main issue for right now. So as we head into our Monday night, you're just going to want a way to get alerts, stay focused to the forecast. You're out to lunch tomorrow for work, and then just be like, I wonder what's going on with the weather right now, and tune in and see where the line of storms are, see if there's any shifts in timing or things like that. So again, tomorrow throughout the day, just want to check in periodically to see, what's going on with the weather before that line starts to come through. Tomorrow, here's what we could expect. It'll be a cloudier start, a warm start. Our low tonight will be warmer than our average high. Our average high for this time of year is about 64. That's where we should be in the middle of the afternoon. But waking up tomorrow, it's going to be in the mid to upper 60s and already be in the low 70s by 10 o'clock in the morning. Again, a chance to maybe see a few isolated showers or sprinkles. Not everyone's going to see it, but that chance is there. But I mean, a really great start to the work week. And then by the time we get into the afternoon, upper 70s to low 80s once again. And again, you're looking at your commute at 5, 6 o'clock. Should be seeing some sunshine and warm temperatures. But again, the storms will be on the horizon. They'll probably be inching towards the 95 corridor by about that time. There it is out there right now. And look at all of those watches and warnings. Watches and even warnings. The watches are stretching all the way from Michigan down into Texas. Severe thunderstorm watches in the yellow, and then the tornado watches in the pink. And we have tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings in Michigan. We have tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings in Indiana, Illinois, Missouri, Arkansas. I mean, a lot is going on with this line of storms right now. And this is not going to stop anytime soon. Throughout the night tonight into the day tomorrow. This should come down a bit overnight into early tomorrow morning before it starts to pick back up again. But, I mean, they are seeing a lot of storms out there right now. And also, I just wanted to zoom in. For the day tomorrow, there's a chance we could see one of these, warnings pop up. And this is a tornado warning here. The yellow or the red polygon, that indicates a tornado warning, either radar indicated or confirmed by somebody on the ground. So if you see a red polygon like that over your area, that means tornado warning. Seek shelter. Lowest area in your basement, most interior part of your house, away from any doors or windows. This one here is a severe thunderstorm warning, but it has that kind of red tint around it. If you could kind of see that. I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell. That means that there's a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible. So that kind of means there's rotation in the thunderstorm, but not quite, well formed yet or well defined yet for there to be a tornado warning on that particular storm. But you got to treat it like a tornado warning because one could form from that storm in a second. So that's just something to keep in mind as we head into the day tomorrow, because we've certainly seen those severe thunderstorm warnings with a tornado possible tag on them plenty of times here in the Hampton Roads area. And this is just, one of those regular severe thunderstorm warnings is the red or the yellow polygons, which means not seeing much in the way of rotation, just strong gusty winds and hail. But again, a lot of severe weather going on from Ohio into Indiana, and that's heading into portions of Kentucky, Tennessee. Again, Ohio has severe thunderstorm watches and a tornado watch. And this tornado threat actually in Michigan wasn't very high today. It was rather low. There was a threat, but not, anything major or super significant. But over the last couple of hours, I was seeing a good amount of tornado warnings in the state of Michigan. So that's just something you got to keep in mind. Even if the threat is low, you're a level 1 out of level 5, like, oh, it shouldn't be a big deal. It could still happen. You could still see a good amount of tornado warnings because it's always, impossible to 100% know what the atmosphere is actually going to do. But our threat tomorrow is a level 3 out of 5, so we do have a pretty good risk of severe weather and isolated tornadoes as well. But again, that's going to continue to push in our direction over the next couple of hours. You'll notice that here on the Futurecast. Overnight, you'll notice it kind of diminishes into Monday morning, and it's like goodbye. And then by the afternoon, went a little fast there, it kind of gets its act back together. You get the sunshine, destabilization of the atmosphere, and then these storms can kind of get ramped up again, and then it heads in our direction by about 8, 9, 10 o'clock, lingering into the early morning on Tuesday before we clear out by about 3, 4 o'clock. And then your commute is good for Tuesday morning. But again, here's the threat for out in the central portions of the U.S. right now. A level 3 out of a level 5 from Michigan all the way down into Mississippi, Louisiana, Tennessee. And again, they're seeing it right now. They're seeing those tornado warnings, the severe thunderstorm warnings. And this is the tornado threat for down there, all the way from Arkansas, Tennessee. That includes Nashville, Kentucky, Indiana, Mississippi. You see that hatched area? That just means you could see some strong tornadoes and maybe even some long-lived or long-tracked. So instead of, the quick spin-ups that sometimes we see here that are only on the ground for, 30 seconds or a minute, 2 minutes, these are on the ground for, 30, 40 minutes, which can cause, a lot of damage. I wanted to show you guys this as well. I wonder if I could zoom in here. Let's see. This is the wind direction. And I just kind of wanted to show you like the wind shear that's going on kind of within the atmosphere here in the middle of the U.S. So let's look at Kentucky and Tennessee. You see the wind? This is the surface wind. So it's coming up, due south, basically, right at the surface. And then you have, I'll zoom in again, wind higher up in the atmosphere coming more out of the southwest, and it's faster. So you have wind shear, you have directional wind shear, and you have speed wind shear. And that's one of the main ingredients you need for tornadoes to form. You kind of get this rolling in the atmosphere because of the wind shear, and then eventually it turns over like this. And that's how you can get tornadoes to form. Of course, there are a ton of other things that have to, be right for these tornadoes to form, but wind shear is one of the main ingredients for tornadoes to form. And this is, you're really seeing it. You have the wind coming up from the south here in Kentucky and Tennessee, and then coming out of the southwest, and it's faster in areas of, Tennessee and Kentucky. So that was just something I wanted to show, like a little interesting tidbit. But again, that severe threat pushes in our direction heading into the day tomorrow. And look at how large the area is for severe weather tomorrow. Similar to today, it's a 3 out of 5 threat for Norfolk up into central Virginia, all the way down into North Florida, Atlanta, South Carolina, Raleigh. All of us are under, a pretty, considerable threat. It's not the biggest threat. That's a level 5 out of 5, a couple weeks ago when they had that, extreme, terrible tornado outbreak. Not expecting that, of course, but, we're level 3 out of 5. So it's something you got to pay attention to. But all the way from the Northeast into Florida could see some severe weather. Here's a closer look for us here in Hampton Roads. All of us under a level 3 except for the Eastern Shore and north of Tappahannock. They're still level 2, but still a threat. So again, just one of those days tomorrow where you want to pay attention to the forecast. You're heading off to work, you're going grocery shopping, just want to check in and see, kind of what's going on. Here's the tornado outlook. Again, this went up from yesterday. We're at a 10% chance to see a tornado at any given point within 25 miles. You're thinking 10%, that doesn't seem like a big threat. 10%, that's, you're likely, I would be shocked if there wasn't, a tornado warning. I'm not saying it's going to be touching the ground, but like when you're in this level, 10%, I wouldn't be super surprised if there was a tornado warning here or there in a few of the areas around Hampton Roads. So again, you just want to keep close to your phone in case you're in that area where you do see, a tornado warning in the Hampton Roads area. Here's the hail outlook. This went down from yesterday. 5% chance. So it's not the biggest threat tomorrow, but there's a chance some storms could have hail. It's not looking like it's going to be, huge hail. But there's, again, that chance. So here's the severe threat heading into Monday night. Largest threat, damaging winds, 55, 65 miles per hour. Hail, that threat is lower, but that tornado threat went up from yesterday. It was low yesterday. Now it's low to medium. And that's the same threat we had with the storms, that came through last week. We were under a level 3. We're under level 3. We had that tornado, unfortunately, in eastern North Carolina. That was overnight. So these are just the threats that you really have to pay attention to, especially when it's getting dark and you're heading off to bed. You want to keep your phone on loud just in case you get some of those warnings. Here are the U.S. tornado averages, just to throw this in there. We're in March, of course, right now, getting into April, and this is when it really ramps up. Severe weather season is upon us, April, and then May is when it really gets going, and then that's when it starts to come down a bit as we go through summer and then into fall. Even though fall, you can kind of get back like an uptick again, kind of like spring. But spring again, March, April, May, that's when you really see that tornado threat start to increase, especially as we head into the next couple of months. So again, here's the storm system heading into the area, late Monday. Here's one model run, 9, 10 o'clock, lingering into early Tuesday morning, some heavy downpours, and then it's out of here by, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, at least with this model run. But again, the main time threat, late Monday, early Tuesday morning. So again, throughout most of the day tomorrow, should be golden. It'll be warm as well. Here's the rainfall potential. It really depends on who's under the heavier downpours for a longer period of time. If you're, have a cell that's training over you for, an hour, 2 hours, you're going to get more rain. But your neighbor, 5 miles north, may get, a weaker rainstorm or a weaker thunderstorm. They get, a quarter of an inch while you got 1.5 inches. So again, it really depends. Could see anywhere from 1/2 inch to 1 inch, possibly up to 2 inches in a few areas for those who see those heavier downpours, again, for the longer period of time. So as we go throughout the rest, of the evening tonight, getting into Sunday night, look at those temperatures. 70 at 9:30 at the end of March. You love to see it. And then as we head into Monday morning, if you're an early riser, a few isolated showers are possible. And by noontime, we're in the upper 70s to low 80s. You know, not going to be a bad day, but again, a chance to see a few more scattered showers, maybe a thunderstorm in the early afternoon. But the real main threat comes, you know, again, 8, 9, 10 o'clock, pushes through the area, gets to the coast around midnight, and then lingers into early Tuesday morning. And then see that wind direction change, that shift? That's the cold front, and that's going to bring in much colder air for the day on Tuesday. We'll be in the low, we'll be right around average. It's not like we're going to be, you know, in the 30s, but after being in the 80s for 3 days, I mean, you know, it's going to be a change, unfortunately. This model here doesn't express as much rainfall as the other. This is about a ½ an inch to an inch in a few areas, but you know what? We'll take it. A lot of us still abnormally dry, a few of us in a moderate drought. So, you know, and at least we're not getting, you know, torrential rain with, you know, 4, 5, 6 inches of rain, which could really lead to major flooding issues. So luckily, flooding isn't a major concern with this system here. Also want to note it's going to be breezy again tomorrow. It's also just a breezy month, March. I mean, I feel like you walk out the door every single day this month and it's just windy, no matter what. And that tends to happen. Spring is the windiest season. Fun fact. Heading into the afternoon tomorrow, 20 to 30 mile per hour gusts. Those linger into Monday night. And then Tuesday morning, still 20 to 30 mile per hour gusts, and it'll be cooler. And then those gusts kind of calm down a bit as we get later into the day on Tuesday. So here's the takeaway. No, not looking for major widespread rain right now. We're going to see some rain, likely. But, you know, it's not going to be an all-day event for tomorrow. It's going to start later in the day. A few isolated showers are possible throughout Monday, but most of us won't see them. And when it starts raining, you know, at 8 o'clock at your house tomorrow night, you may get a break here or there, and then you could see another round coming through, but you just got to keep that in mind as we head into early Tuesday morning, because any of those showers or thunderstorms that come through late Monday, those are the ones that have the chance to pack a punch. So it's just one of those nights where you know, put on a good movie, see what's going on. Unfortunately, it's not going to look like this tomorrow. I mean, it was a great day. People are still out there on the boardwalk, at the ocean front. I can't blame them. Temperatures are still really comfortable. You know, we're in the 70s, mid to upper 70s still. I mean, a really great night. I'm shocked the beach isn't, you know, packed right now. But a few people out there on their bikes. Here's a look at our Nautica scam, our Thompson Creek Window Company sky view. I don't see many people out for a stroll, which is very shocking. The beach was packed earlier, which, you know, of course, isn't shocking. 77, that's the temperature out there right now. Winds are out of the south at 16 miles per hour. Just wonderful. 76 in Smithfield this evening, 76 in Gloucester, 73 in Chesapeake, 66 in Manio, 74 in Virginia Beach, it's 75 in Suffolk, 73 in Elizabeth City, and 70 in Matthews right now. Here are the peak wind gusts today. Another breezy day. Not shocking. That's March for you. 30 mile per hour gusts, Norfolk, Virginia Beach, 23 in Suffolk, 22 in West Point, 25 in Elizabeth City, 25 in Manio, 29 mile per hour gusts in Wallops Island, and it'll be breezy again heading into the day tomorrow. Over the next couple of hours, look at those temperatures overnight. Low 70s, upper 60s. It's going to be like a summer type night tonight. And then getting up tomorrow morning, already going to be in the mid to upper 60s, warmer than our average high for this time of year. So here are our lows. Look at Norfolk, 67. 64 in Virginia Beach, 63 in Chesapeake tonight, 64 in Wakefield over towards the eastern shore. A little bit cooler, a little bit more, you know, comfortable. I'd say like mid to upper 50s overnight is like like the sweet spot for sleeping temperature-wise. During the day, 85, but that's a different story. 61 in Cape Charles, 61 in Malfa, 62 in Matthews tonight, 64 in Gloucester, 64 in Hampton, Eastern Shore, sitting in the low to mid 60s tonight, 62 in Knott's Island, 65 in Hertford, 65 down in Elizabeth City. And again for tomorrow, look at these highs, upper 70s, low 80s. And then storms later in the day, of course, you know. 81 in Windsor, 81 in Norfolk, 79 in Virginia Beach, 72 in Cape Charles tomorrow, 73 in Sunnybank, a little bit cooler closer to the coast up in the peninsulas, 75 in Matthews, 80 in Newport News, 80 in Windsor, 69 in Manio, 72 in Kill Devil Hills, 78 in Elizabeth City. An allergy report tomorrow, not looking good. It's been pretty high to extreme for trees, juniper, birch, sycamore. But the good news is once the rain comes through, it helps wash away all that pollen. So that's the silver lining with the storms coming through, is that it'll be a little bit better heading into the day on Tuesday, most likely. And then it'll kind of uptick again before we see more rain coming through. But look at this 10-day temperature trend. 81 on Monday, right? And then we drop about 20 degrees heading into Tuesday. Wednesday, 64 degrees. And then another beautiful rise in temps, upper 70s, low 80s. And then look at next Tuesday, upper 50s. That's interesting. Yeah, it's looking like April, the start of April is going to be cooler than average. That's what the models are kind of thinking right now, and that's kind of what it's looking like. So if you miss the cooler temps, you're not like an 80s person, the start of April is looking like it'll be for you. Unfortunately, it's not going to be for me. This weekend was phenomenal. But things, again, will shift. And, of course, it's spring. It's always up and down. But I'm just waiting for the up and for it to stay up. But that's okay. We like the shift. Anyway, heading into the day tomorrow, once again, weather impact alert for our Monday. Starting late Monday evening into Monday night into early Tuesday morning. Gusty winds are possible with the severe storms. Strong to severe storms, isolated tornadoes, not out of the question. If you get a tornado warning, get to the lowest part of your house. Your basement is the best place to go. If you don't have a basement, the most interior part of your house. So away from any windows, you want to be away from walls that are touching the outside, basically, because you can get, objects flying around and they can go through, the walls of your house and get inside. But then if you have multiple walls between you and outside, that can help protect you a bit. So that's something you want to keep in mind, again, if you have a tornado warning. So just have a way to get alerts for tomorrow, especially tomorrow night. If you go to bed early, you're going to bed at 8 o'clock and the storms haven't really ramped up yet or got to your area yet, you want to keep your phone on loud just in case, you get some of those warnings. Hour by hour for tomorrow, again, waking up in the upper 60s, and then we're in the upper 70s to low 80s by the afternoon. Most of the day tomorrow is good. Again, a few isolated showers aren't out of the question, but most of us could see some sunshine. But again, the more sunshine you see tomorrow, the more unstable the atmosphere will get. You get more heating of the surface, and then when you get a warm surface and cool air higher up, you get more rising, and that's what can help lead to stronger storms. So the more sun you see tomorrow could lead to stronger storms. The less sun you see, the more clouds you see, the storms may not be as strong. So just something, to think about as we go throughout the day tomorrow. I'm going to leave it on the 5-day forecast, 5 to 7. So here's a look at the next couple of days. Again, upper 70s, low 80s tomorrow. Weather impact alert late Monday into early Tuesday. It's going to be windy again heading into the day on Tuesday. No surprise there. It's always windy. 66 on Wednesday. Not a bad day. Not a bad hump day on Wednesday. 66. Good amount of sunshine. And then we're back into the 80s. You'll love to see it. Low rain chance on Thursday. Those rain chances kind of start to uptick heading towards the end of the week and into next weekend. And then temperatures drop a bit heading into Saturday and Sunday, but still in the mid-70s, so not looking too bad. But yeah, back to the 80s on Thursday and Friday. And then after next weekend, that's when we see that drop in temps, when we saw those upper 50s. Whew, it's going to be a big change. All right, I'm going to leave it on the weather impact alert graphic for now. I appreciate you guys joining me tonight. I will be back on here. Actually, I will be on the 11 tonight, of course. 13 News Now at 11. And then Daybreak starts tomorrow at 4:30. Craig Taylor will be here to keep you guys updated throughout the day tomorrow. And then, of course, Evan and Tim will be in tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening to keep you guys updated. Thanks again for joining me tonight.